Their big fourth down conversion on 29. Just can you take us through those two series? I know that can be 20-20 sometimes.
Yeah, no, again, a lot of it too is time in the game, and again, what we've done with our opportunities when we've had those opportunities. You know, are we what's the line of scrimmage doing? You know, so again, to me, not wanting to seal our own fate, you know, was a big part of that decision, and again, it just wasn't the right time.
Did you like the setup on their last 4th and 1, the big play? Well, not the big play, but the 4th and 1 where they made 2. Were you confident that you had a shot to stop them? They're a great running team. They're tough to stop.
Yeah, well, we had the A's and the B gaps with defenders lined up in them, so that's where they ran the ball.
Why do you think the team wasn't as physical today as what you would want?
I don't know. The other team was more physical. Why is that? I don't know. You know, we got to be better there. We got to improve that. You know, that's an area that we got to continue to work on and improve.
What did you think of Dylan's play today? I know obviously the turnovers in the first half, and just the way that those in particular unfolded, 3 tip balls in different ways.
Yeah, well, that's never, you know, any good. And again, we're you know, just throwing it high and tips or picks. You know, throwing it late over the middle a couple of times. We can't do that. You know, Baylor's a good disciplined football team, and they took advantage of some bad decisions. But I love the fight, and I love a lot of things that he did, particularly you know, in the second half. You know, I thought he had, you know, came back and responded, you know, in a great way. So obviously those aren't ever any good. You know, 3 plays and interception, 6 plays interception, and 5 plays interception, and again, we're fortunate it wasn't more, but we held them to 10 points, you know, in those situations, and we got to be better.
Brent, what was it? Was it a combination of all, or was one more of a factor than the others when it comes to not getting the stops? Because you kind of had them in control there for just a while,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was kind of that zone play where it looked like there might have been a bust or two, and then a couple of times.
Yeah, we got caught out of some gaps, and they were 4 of 13, I believe, on 3rd down, and again 3 of 3 in the most critical times, and got out-executed, outplayed, outcoached in all those situations. We got to be better. Not any one thing. They literally were running the ball left and running it right, and checking in and out of it. And regardless of wherever, you know, they're sending the run, we got to do a better job at physically being in gaps and having a gap side arm and leg free and fitting aggressively and downhill. We got soft on, you know, our edges and our secondary run support at times, and they cracked us, and we didn't do a good job at crack replacing. They physically got after us, you know, a number of times. We got swallowed up. You know, they've got a good offensive line, do a good job at targeting you, and you know they're going to punish you when you make mistakes.
Brent, you alluded to the penalty on the play where David made the nice open field tackle there. Had a couple other critical ones, the one right before half.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see, maybe a common thread through some of those issues, not only today, but this season with the penalties?
Yeah, they're happening at the most inopportune times. We got to play with better discipline. We got to be a disciplined football team. You know, you got to make better decisions. You know, put yourself in a better position. You know, don't panic in the most critical moments. So there's a bunch of different situational things. You got to have a focused intensity about you. This is an intense, passionate game, but you got to have great focus to you. So whether they're false starts or the holding, or, you know, hands to the face, or a PI, you know, all those things, again, add up. And again, this game will punish you when, for whatever reason, whatever it is, oh, he's pushing me. Yeah, no kidding. You want to play in this football team, you're going to play with discipline. So it's, you know, got to be disciplined. You know, sometimes you got to learn from your mistakes, I guess.
Hey, Brent, outside of the opening drive, you never could get on top of them. You never could get momentum. How much did that hurt? Even if the field goal try, you know, he has a chance to make that, you know. So You never could get back on top of them. How much did that play in the game?
Well, again, when we have our opportunities, we weren't able to capitalize today. And again, some of that's the complementary football we're talking about. Again, we couldn't sustain the success when we had it. There was plenty of moments of good things, and we couldn't sustain it. You know, you're playing a good football team, and again, any mistake you make, they punished us for it today.
We're really talking about toughness. How much of the toughness you're talking about is physical?
It's a little bit of.
But how much of it's also mental?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, it takes the mental toughness with the physical toughness to do the right things in the most pressure situations, make the right adjustment. Trust the guy next to you. Play with the right fundamentals. There's a lot that goes into what you asked, and but it's a little bit of everything.
Where does the discipline, that's something that has been a common theme, I guess,
Yeah.
in some of your losses. Where does that come from? How do you develop? Is it going to take time?
In some of the
and
wins,
years?
we're able to overcome it, when we're playing more timely. Maybe they're one out of three on the fourth downs, So, again, just, I don't think it's, in 5 wins, we had good discipline, right? In the 4 losses, maybe not. Is that fair?
That's kind of zero-sum game.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm just answering your question, and we got to be more disciplined. I've been talking about discipline for 11 months, and we got to be a more disciplined football team. And so it starts with coaches getting the players to play with more discipline, and then the players within the moment's got to play with the discipline,
Seen it progress then?
I've seen moments we play with great discipline, and today it wasn't. And again, plenty of critical situations where again we didn't. It's like the ones that we didn't, they made us pay for it. And that's what a good football team will do.
The performance of Eric Gregg today and getting him much more involved in the passing game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Eric did today what he's done, again, all year, whatever we've asked him to do. He's as consistent of a player as we've had, ran with toughness. He's always straining, and he's a very, very dependable player, and it means a lot to him. And he makes those plays when he gets his opportunity.
Brent, we saw at the end of the first quarter there, Roy Williams getting honored for being inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Just what do you remember from those days back when he was playing here?
From Roy?
Yes.
The game was really slow for him, in particular his last year. Pleasant guy to coach, same guy every day, very even-keeled, but he was ferocious on the field. I don't know I ever saw him miss a tackle, like seriously, and great speed to contact hitter, and just tremendous instincts. Played with great explosiveness, and a special guy.
Can you talk about Marvin Mims' game this week? Last week he kind of struggled, a couple of drop passes, looked a little mentally out of sorts a little bit, and this week looked better and more focused, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you have a couple of, again, the guy's been, amazing all year. So you have a couple of drops. It's not an indictment. Sometimes that's the game of football, Sometimes you execute, sometimes you don't. We can't expect anyone to play perfect. And I think he, for the most part, is close to as perfect as you could be. And so now, the bar's, through the roof, and unfairly, everybody deserves some grace. And so, again, Marvin today was who he's been virtually the entire season, Made a bunch of plays, again, had 120 yards receiving, had 112 in the first half, which was just, outstanding. The most, ever in the first opening 30 minutes.
Did you think about challenging that punt, or threw it back and say did, and then they called and said it was a touchback? Did you think about challenging?
Well, they check every one of those. You didn't have to challenge it. They check them all, and there's plenty of time for them to check it. So, that's what the replay's for.
silly question, but your guys are coached to go all the way and put their heels on whatever yard line. It seems like you just haven't done that as well as
On the kickoffs?
you would like.
What are you talking about?
Talking about punting, the play you were referring to there. I was just wondering how you coach your guys in terms of.
You saw the Iowa State game, didn't you? We not pin them late. We had 5 defenders, 5 cover guys right there on the 1 yard line, and we did it earlier in the game against Iowa State, and we had a guy right there. I don't understand what you mean. They did a good job of holding us up.
Some teams do it a little bit differently. I'm just wondering, as a routine, is it get to the goal line or get to the 5?
We have somebody
heels back,
typically.
or what?
Somebody will typically face him, and then somebody's back behind him, protecting the goal line. And I thought it was a tremendous effort by our guy in that situation. So we've been. Turk had a really good game. It takes him putting the ball where it needs to be. Early in the season, he didn't do as good of a job in pooch situations as we spoke about, numerous times. And I thought last week he did a terrific job. And I thought that was a well-placed ball today. Sometimes you execute it, sometimes you don't, but our guy was in position to do that. And then we run through the goal line on kickoff. But I thought last week against Iowa State, you saw us have 5 guys with the snapper coming in right at the end of the picture. They didn't do as good of a job holding us up. Baylor did a better job of holding up. What I saw today.
Anything else? Thank you, Coach.
All right.